Cheers. If you just watched my OT tea review box opening thing, you'll know that I just made this. Now I'm going to try it. Oh, that's good. It's the apple, lemongrass and ginger caffeine-free tea. It's real good. Right, so I know I'm spoiling everybody with all these videos, but they've been on my mind for a while to make, and I have some free time. Daughter's at nursery, girlfriend has gone back to work, so it's just me, myself and I. So yeah, I thought why not do something productive and talk to you all on the interweb, whatever you want to call it. So I just did one that was quite cheery, tea reviews, some ginger sweets that I just got in the post. But now I'm going to talk about something a bit more serious, a bit more health related, something a bit more closer to my heart because I'm suffering with it, I'm going through it. And I was looking for sort of videos on this sort of stuff a couple of days ago, and there didn't seem to be much out there if you were first timers or if you'd never gone through it. If you've gone through it before but you wanted somebody else that had done it as well. There was nothing really that screamed at me to watch or that certainly looked like it was going to help. So I thought, why not make it yourself as you're going through it right now and it's all fresh in your mind. And yeah, so we'll start at the beginning. I've spoken about this before many times. I was diagnosed with IBS, irritable bowel syndrome, a time ago. I was probably about 21, 22. I don't really remember that time much. I think my brain's almost kind of blocked out the trauma of it. From what my parents said, I was vomiting a fair bit. I'd lost a hell of a lot of weight. I was having diarrhea. This come from sort of food poisoning in Cyprus from a prawn in a Chinese restaurant. And got signed off work with it. I worked with food at the time, so it all kind of just escalated. I had a colonoscopy with a prep that tasted like orange. You put it in cold water, it made it hot. You waited till it had cooled down, and then you pretty much just downed a pint of it. And then you have your colonoscopy, which sees the whole entire bowel, and the doctor can give you some sort of diagnosis pretty quickly, pretty much on the day, if you're lucky enough. I don't remember any biopsies being taken or anything like that, and it pretty much came back clear. There was no cancer, no tumours, no nothing, and that's what you're diagnosed with, is IBS. They can't see anything, nothing sinister at least, so that's it, that's your diagnosis. And you just kind of go and live your life. IBS is not treatable, it's not curable, it's a way of life, and you just kind of crack on with it. So that's what I've been living with since early-ish 20s. I'm now 37. Been feeling like for the past year, there's been bouts of nausea. They've kind of come in peaks and waves. Some have been really high for like days, and it's not moved or budged at all. Eating didn't help, not eating didn't help. It wouldn't matter if I'd gone to the toilet, if I'd not gone to the toilet. But recently, maybe March, April 2020, just as furlough 1.0 hit us, lockdown, it got worse. And by worse, I mean I've lost 2.5 stone. If you go back and watch some previous videos, you'll notice my face will be a bit bigger. My hands are definitely a lot thinner now. My rings just fall off. My work uniform does not fit me. I just look a bit like a clown. I mean, this jumper was not tight, but it fitted. It's now too big, as are most of my clothes. So went to the doctor. This is a very unfortunate time to get sick, because you don't know if hospital's going to close, if they're going to even see you, or if they're going to try and do something over the phone. But I had numerous phone calls with the GP. One recommended upping some sort of stomach tablet that I'm on to aid with the nausea. That didn't touch me. That hasn't done a thing. And I've since learned that the drug lansoprazole that I'm on is not good for you long term. It's just meant to be a short term thing till they find out what's wrong with you. Then you stop it. I've been on it since my early 20s. So my main focus right now is to find out what's going on so I can get off lansoprazole. So they upped that to 30 instead of 15. Again, it's not touched anything. And then I had blood tests to rule out anything to do with my thyroid. There's something, Addison's disease, that can cause these problems. That came back clear. I've not got Addison's disease. And then that's it. You're pretty much done with your GP. You have to go higher. So on to a gastroenterologist who I saw at East Surrey Hospital. And he's basically taken everything down into consideration and decided that I needed a colonoscopy, which is one of those, and a gastroscopy, which is one of those. So the endoscopy, as you can imagine, is the end. It goes up your bottom and has a look at your bowel and surrounding areas. And the gastroscopy goes down your throat and into your stomach and looks at your intestines and abdominal region basically, and it's a lot clearer to see things that way than CT scans, MRI scans, any kind of scan. Basically you can see what's going on right in front of your eyes. So I had a CT scan August or September, October. I had a CT scan with contrast, which is dye that gets injected into your vein and just kind of circles all your organs, makes them kind of show up a little bit brighter. And if there's anything there sinister looking like a tumour or a growth, or I'm not sure about polyps, it kind of flags them up and they can see straight away, right, well this could be the cause of it, and we'll look at that. Nothing came from my CT scan, absolutely clear, which in a way is awesome. Nothing sinister in there is going on, but at the same time I still didn't have answers. So cameras. It starts off with having to do some sort of prep for your body. So 4 days before you're due to have your scopes done, you have to prep your bowel. So you've got to strip your food right back. So if you're kind of going through life normally and you've just got like a slight problem and they're just doing this as a kind of routine check, you will need to rethink your diet massively. Like you go from being able to eat a ton of food of whatever you want to stripping it right down to boiled chicken with rice, potatoes. You can eat clear soups, you can eat broths, you can eat coffee, black, and that is literally about it. You are not allowed sauces, you are not allowed, you can eat lean meat, but you are not allowed basically anything. Spaghetti bolognese, you could have the pasta and the mince. I'm not even sure if you can have the mince because it drains a lot of fat. It's not considered lean. So you literally have to strip yourself right back because you have to prep your bowel. Now, the bowel holds food for a while, about 12 hours. So if you think you've had a big poo and that's like breakfast gone, it's not. It's probably dinner from the night before. So your bowel holds a lot of food and needs the most amount of attention when it comes to a procedure like this. When they say they want you to empty your bowel, they legit mean it. It has to be empty. Like empty to the point where you're just pooping the drink you've just drunk. Like it's weird to fathom, but it happens and it's real and it's ridiculous. So I got a thing in the post called Movi Prep. As sachet A and B times 2. You put the A and B together in a litre bottle of water. Now I bought an Evian litre bottle, so I knew I had to drink all of that bottle twice. The first bottle had to be done relatively quickly in a short space of time, like an hour and a half. They don't time you. It's ridiculous to get down. It's disgusting. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm okay. I don't really have a gag reflex as such, like a strong one anyway, but I struggled with this. And they've made it try to taste like lemon, but I would rather it just be plain because now that's put me off like artificial lemon things, like lemonade. So after this diet, the day before you have your colonoscopy, so mine was at 7:45 the morning after, so I had to eat nothing from 8 a.m. the day before my colonoscopy. So 10 a.m. I had at 8 a.m. I had my last bit of food. I had dry bread with honey on it. That's breakfast, and that was my last bit of food until the day after, in the afternoon sometime when I came home. So 10 a.m. you make your Movi Prep and you drink, and that is it. You drink that and you get it down as best you can. They know you're going to struggle. They know it doesn't taste good. Okay, it's not there as a lovely little beverage that you just have while you're watching some Netflix. It is minging, and you've got to use every single ounce of your willpower to get this stuff down. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm not a hero. I did it, but it was disgusting. I had lemonade. You can drink clear fizzy fluid, so if you like sparkling water, drink it. If you like lemonade, have it. Sprite, perfect. I had lemonade. I had a herbal tea and my Movi Prep. I would drink a mouthful of Movi Prep, a mouthful of lemonade, and a mouthful of tea. da, 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 until we were done with that first litre. And 10 minutes after drinking that first litre, I needed the loo. So the previous one I've had before, the orange one that heats up, that gets cold, wasn't really successful with me. Didn't really empty my bowel completely. Enough to have a scope done, but not enough, I reckon, to have a good old mooch about and see what's going on. This Movi Prep cleared me out. Like, seriously. So I drank that and I struggled, and then you have to obviously rehydrate because you're pooping now water. And you're full up because you just downed a litre of this Movi Prep stuff. So I'm still making my herbal teas, I'm still drinking my lemonades, no squashes, nothing of colour, basically. But you'll have black tea and coffee with a little bit of sugar, but no Cokes, no Fantas, no nothing like that. You're not allowed squashes, nothing like with kind of dye in it, basically. The black coffee and stuff will come out, but the coloration in squashes can hang around the lining of your womb and can make it seem more sinister than it is. So just pick something that you like that's clear. So I went in lemonade, which is good because at the time you feel like you got a lot of gas in there where you're drinking so much. So I was burping a fair bit, but it's good. It gets it all out. You make sure you're empty. And then at 4 p.m. in the afternoon, that same day, I had to drink another litre of Movi Prep. Now, a litre is a fair amount of water. I don't drink a litre in a day, I don't think. So 2 litres plus the Sprite or the lemonade that I'm drinking and the herbal tea. It's a lot of fluid for me. Not really a fluid kind of gal, but I got it done, and I was full to the brim with fluid. But do you know what? In the morning, it all comes out, and you have a clear bowel, and you have an empty bowel, and you've never been this empty. You've been hungry, and it's gargled a little bit, and you felt a little bit like, oh, I could eat a bag of crisp. As soon as you've done this, you will understand what hunger is. I was sitting in that waiting room in the hospital waiting to see the anaesthetist and the doctor and the nurses to do health checks and stuff, and you're gargling like you've never gargled before. I think even the people when I'm a celebrity are not as hungry as you will be once you've done your Movi Prep. So that's it. I Movi Prepped. It is timed so that you're not like needing to go to the toilet while you're in the car getting to the hospital. So don't worry about like pooping yourself. The only way that would happen is if you've not followed the diet correctly and you've still got food inside you. Because if you're just drinking liquids, they will just come out the other end. There is no filter in there. It just goes through your stomach, through your intestines, out your bowel, into the toilet. And that's it. If you're still pooping in the hospital, it's not worked. And it should have worked. So you have to answer that question yourself. What did you eat? What did you do? Did you not follow the timings right? So do yourself a favour. If you need this done and your health is on the line and you need answers, the only way it will work is if you have an empty bowel. And I mean empty. So then you see the nurse. You have your blood pressure taken, your temperature, obviously wearing a mask because of COVID. And then you see your anaesthetist. She ran through some questions with me. Teeth. Any fillings, any caps, are they mine, any issues with previous general anaesthetics? Obviously there has been none. I just kind of wake up cold, a bit shaky, sometimes a bit nauseous, but they have drugs to kind of help you with that. And then you see your surgeon who's going to perform it and tells you the statistics about scopes. They're perfectly safe, they're perfectly fine. Things can happen, obviously. You can get tears, you can get niggles. Do you know what? Every operation comes with a little bit of danger. Things can happen. Nothing is ever granted, okay? So don't be signing consent forms thinking, I'm gonna be fine, it's never gonna happen. It could, okay? Just put it that way. That's why they have a consent form, is that you've stated, regardless, you've told me that there are some dangers, or they could happen, and I've signed this form to say I understand, okay? So don't be going into things 100% clear. Wake up with the mindset that, okay, something could happen, but they're going to try their best not to. That's what they're trained for. That's why they're doing it, and I'm not. So you sign your little consent form. It just basically says, you won't be able to read it now, it just basically says at the top what you're having done. It says gastroscopy and colonoscopy, and then statement of health professional. It lists right here everything that could happen. Heavy bleeding, perforation, obviously. There's some tools going inside my bottom and not many tools have gone inside my bottom. So it could be a slightly tight area that might rip, whatever. They got to list it and you sign it to say that's absolutely fine. I accept that. It's okay. If it happens, we'll fix it and we go from there. And then you sign it. You both sign it to say that he's explained it and I've understood it and I give you my permission to continue with the operation or your procedure, whatever it is you're having. You sign one of these, whatever. You could be having a tooth removed or a tonsil removed. You still sign a form to say that nobody is liable if anything happens to you. The reason I had a GA is that I've had local or sedation before and they've been very, very painful. It is a painful procedure unless the sedation works and you 100% go with it and you have a bit of a snooze and you don't remember a thing. It's called cooperative sedation, so you're kind of still there and if they ask you to like move your legs, you can kind of do it, but you won't remember the procedure, you won't remember any pain, but you're conscious. And I cannot swallow a camera. Now the cameras are not big, don't get me wrong. They're not like the size of a salt and pepper pot, but at the same time it is attached to a lead that will be out of your mouth while you're awake and the camera will be in your stomach. I cannot tolerate that. I tried before with a very cocky gastroenterologist who learnt his lesson by not assuming that I could do it and wouldn't listen to me. So this gastroenterologist was absolutely amazing and said, that's fine, GA for you. No arguments, no, let's just do it under a sedation. If it doesn't work, then we'll go forward with the GA. Look, you're wasting time, okay? I'm not well. We need answers, so just give me the GA, knock me out. I'll do the bowel prep, I'll do my work. I'm a good girl, I've been taught right. And then we'll go from there. So, you go to sleep, I had a GA. I woke up, I ain't got a clue what's going on. Nothing, I don't remember a thing. I'm asleep. It's all good as far as I'm concerned. Bit of a sore throat because they have to put a laryngeal thing to open your airway so you don't just die. And then the camera the other side. So there's two things going down this small old neck of mine, either side of my windpipe, keeping me alive and basically doing the procedure at the same time. So yes, you get a sore throat. Do not think you will wake up like, I woke up and I was like this. I sounded ridiculous. It's better today. It's still kind of sore in the morning because it's dry, but it's okay now, like generally. And bottom wise, like they use a bit of lube. Obviously, they're just gonna pop it in dry. So you got a bit of a wet bottom. I'm not gonna lie, but it's okay. It's all fine. You need answers, right? So you kind of recover. You need to recover. You need to wake up from your general. If you've had sedation, you'll be a little bit more rousable than me. I took about 40 minutes to wake up properly from my GA. I had a bit of a cough. I felt a bit sick from that cough. A little bit of saliva going on in there. Lots of this like awfulness. So a bit of suction. They helped me out a little bit of nausea. Medicine in the back of my hand where I had my cannula. He did a very good job. There's actually nothing there, just a little spot right there. The guy who popped it in, amazing, was very reassuring, very comforting, even though I was a bit upset. And then back onto the endoscopy ward to sort of recover and meet your people who are picking you up. And that's where you find out your results. Mine came back clear. Go figure. So we don't quite know what still is going on. What we do know is they took biopsies. So I'm going to show you now what they look like. So they took 2 from my stomach, or if you look at this, it says they took 4. And they took them from right there. So this is your stomach right here, and they took a random one, smack bang probably in the middle, and a little one right there. So I think they took 2 and 2. Basically, it doesn't tell me like how many they took of each. It says times 4 random biopsies, so they've just taken a little bit from there and a little bit from there, and we'll have a look at what's going on. The bowel one is a little bit more sinister. So today I'm in a bit of pain. I'm taking Calpol because it's easier to swallow for your throat. If you get the 6+, it's good for adults. It will work. It does get rid of my pain. But I know someone's been digging around in there, so it's kind of like a period pain times 3 or 4. Like, it's uncomfortable. It hurts to sit down and then it hurts to stand up. So just relax if you've had a colonoscopy, especially with biopsies. It's a painful procedure. And there's my bowel ones. So they had a good old dig around there. So this is your rectum. This is where you exit the bottom. and they go up and around and down and in. So you can see why if you're awake, this would cause a little bit of problem and be slightly painful. However, it's very, very good if you're asleep. It's even better if you are relaxed. Relax. Because these curves are hard to get around with a scope. The scope is meant to bend, but these nonetheless are areas that are not used to being prodded and poked. So they do hurt and it is uncomfortable. But again, you need answers. So you decide how you do it. You ask for a GA, or if you're happy with sedation and in the past you've had it and you've been knocked out, go for sedation. I knew what worked for me, that's why I asked for a GA. So here is where they took them. So I think they took 4, 8, 12, 16 biopsies from my bowel. And there's all the writing to tell you that. So yes, it wasn't my surgeon that did the endoscopy, it was one of his colleagues. So I've yet to see my main guy, Dr. Alexi. I've yet to see him, and I don't know the answers to the biopsies yet, but I will keep you posted, and we'll do like a follow-up video of what he says. And where do we go from a negative colonoscopy and gastroscopy? I just don't know. So when you get told your answers, they give you those papers so you can just have a general read for yourself. You get a leaflet about the aftermath of the gastroscopy and an aftermath of the colonoscopy. And that's it. They do read them to you, but I would always recommend someone be with you because I don't remember that chat. I'd had a GA. I don't remember being cheeky rude with my girlfriend while I'm trying to get dressed to go home in the cubicle. I don't remember being naughty with her, not being naughty with her, just being naughty towards her, saying rude things about intimate stuff. It tells you about any redness, any swelling, anything you might experience. If you're at all scared, there are some phone numbers, there's an email address. Never be too worried that your body's not used to be dug around in there. You will feel things you've never felt before, but unless you're like vomiting blood, you're good. Just relax. Have a drink, something tiny to eat, sleep a bit, you'll be good. The colonoscopy lists a little bit more, especially if you've had biopsies like me. I did pass some blood. It was slightly shocking, even though I'd been told I would pass some blood. I've never done it before, and I'm pretty sure they've done biopsies. However, they've never taken that many from me. I think they've taken 2 or 3 before. So I did pass some blood. I thought I was passing wind on the toilet. It actually was blood and it did go into the pan. However, I've not done that for 2 days and the colonoscopy was 2 days ago. So I'm probably healed. I've not yet gone to the toilet, but do not worry. Your bowel has been completely emptied. And it will take a lot for it to refill for you to have a normal poo again. So you're looking at probably 3 to 4 days to get back to normality, maybe a bit longer. Everyone's different. So that's it, really. If anyone's got any questions, feel free to pop them in the comments and I'll get back to you straight away. I am on furlough, I am on my own at the moment and I can reply to anything. You're welcome to ask whatever you want or even just to say hi or whatever, basically. I'm always there to reach out to. I am on Instagram, I am on TikTok, yeah, I'm everywhere, basically, just plug in. So get in touch, yeah, please do. Don't feel like you're on your own because you are not. And I'll keep drinking my teas. Cheers. And I'm gonna go make a roll, probably with some ham in it, just taking it nice and easy, trying to refill the bowel. Not overwhelm it with a prawn cocktail and then a roast dinner and then sticky toffee pudding. Just relax. Refill it slowly. You won't be overwhelmed. There'll be a nice poop at the end of it and it'll all be good. And you'll recover and the pain goes away. But don't be brave. Don't be strong. You need paracetamol. Take the paracetamol. Like I said, these are areas that are not used to being dug around in with various tubes and instruments that are taking biopsies and all of the above. Okay? But you got this. Yeah, feel free to ask me any questions. If not, that's probably my 2 videos for today. And I'm gonna make another one tomorrow. Someone has asked me to do a tutorial on the neon lattes from, what are they called? Tea & Company, Tea & Co. I ordered a neon latte and somebody wants to know how to make it and look awesome. So I'm gonna do that and I'm gonna film it tomorrow. And I'll pop it on here. So stay safe, guys. Stay well, and I'll speak to you soon.